All right, Coach. Practice has been going what, maybe a week at the most. How are things looking so far?
Well, you can tell by my voice how it's going. Probably it's been a challenge the first 7 days with a brand new team, new staff. But looking back, it's going well. I'm pleased with the first 7, 8 days.
Oh. The staff, you take the job, you put the staff together. Mindset going in, new day. Everybody starts from zero. Let's go to work.
Well, my first priority was getting players before I even put the staff together. I basically hired one guy first, and probably for the first 8, 10 weeks, it was just myself and one other guy recruiting because we needed to fill the whole roster. Mm-hmm. And after that, we finished up the staff. I got a good staff, and and Shaman Williams and Quantus White and Chris Cheeks, Talis Franklin, guy came from Mississippi State with me there for about 10 years or 12 years. So we put together a good staff.
How's the transition been from transferring to Conference USA? What did you know about the conference before you arrived in Bowling Green? Really?
Well, there's really no difference in conferences. I mean, hey, at the end of the year, you got one tournament. Everybody plays in one tournament, the NCAA tournament. Mm-hmm. You better have good enough players to play in that tournament. At the end of the year, they don't have a separate NCAA tournament for Kentucky or Mississippi State and a separate one for Middle Tennessee and Western. We're all in the same tournament. Mm-hmm. So you better be able to recruit well enough to give yourself a chance to compete for that tournament.
Speaking of the tournament, Middle Tennessee made it to the NCAA tournament last year, obviously beat Michigan State. What do you know about that team? I cover them. Obviously, Kermit has a few connections back, the state of Mississippi. And what do you know a little bit about Middle Tennessee? Now your main rival within the conference.
Well, I hadn't really had a chance to study them at all right now. Mm-hmm. Zero. I've been concerned about one thing, trying to get enough players that gives Western Kentucky a chance to compete this year. Mm-hmm. Basically have one player returning in Justin Johnson. That's it. So everybody else is either new or, I think, Ben and Waters played a few months last year, but basically it's it. So I don't know a whole lot about Middle, who they're returning. I know about Kermit. Known Kermit for a long time. He's done a very good job, and he's done a great job at Middle.
You talk about new players. You get grad transfers. Tell me about that process of getting these grad transfers.
Well, it was simple. When I left my press conference and went and watched the scrimmage, we had no guards. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about bad guards. I'm talking about no guards. Mm-hmm. They'd kicked off 3 guards a couple weeks before, and so you have a choice April 1st. Not a lot of really good high school kids left, no matter how good they are. You get too many of those, you got no chance to compete. So, like I said, I didn't come here to rebuild. I'm too old for that. I came here to try to compete for a championship right off the bat. And the best way to do that is try to get some 5th-year graduates. And, we picked up, La Bamba from Providence, Q Johnson from Washington State, and Pancake Thomas from Hartford. Now our job is to put them together and get them play as one. And, now at least I have some experience in that backcourt. It gives us a chance to compete.
Coach, just talk about that. The game is, you and I are both old enough to remember when the game was inside out and it stayed inside out. Now it's gone outside in, and you just mentioned the one position that pretty much controls everything. That's just because that position is handling the ball all the time, but it's the extension of the coach and everything else, and it's got to go through the guard.
Well, there's no question. I mean, if you don't have good guard play, I don't care how good your big guys are, it's difficult to go win. But I think the best teams who win championships are guys who can throw in that paint too. Because I've always said this, championships are won on the road, they're not won at home. Everybody's good at home. And that team that can go on the road, throw that ball, that paint, control that game a little bit, are teams that have best chances to win championships. And I think we got a mixture of that now with Justin Johnson. And again, I like Ben, the kid who didn't get a chance to play much last year. But no question, I have experienced backcourt now, those 3 5th-year guys. Our challenge is putting this whole team together and getting them to understand only way any of us win is if the team wins. You don't win individually unless the team wins.
Now, even with all of that turnover and change, and you guys are still picked towards the top of the conference. What does that tell you about the team that you're about to take over?
I don't know where they got all that at and based it at. We're a new team. We got one player back. One player back. But, I've never looked at where you picked. I mean, it don't matter. I mean, it matters to people maybe picking out there. Our goals are the same every year. Compete for a championship, wherever it is. And that's going to be our goal this year. We have a fighting chance, and we'll strap it up and see what we can get done.
Coach, is there anything else that's going on campus that you hadn't talked about that's looking forward to? Oh, your non-conference schedule. Did you? Was it already put together, or did you add or subtract, or what?
Well, I added 2 or 3 games to it, but it was mostly put together. 9 of our first 12 games are on the road. 9 of our first 12 on the road.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And I added a game at St. Mary's, they were 29-5 last year and got all top 8 players back at St. Mary's. I added Ohio University, who was 24-5 last year, picked to win the MAC this year. Those are 2 games I added. So, like I said, we're not going to make excuses. I'm getting the blunt of all the return games this year where they had them at home last year. At the end of the year, you got to win your tournament. That's where it is.
That's true.
So we're going to get a lot of opportunities going on the road. A lot of opportunities going on the road to compete. It's going to make us better come conference tournament time.
What's your score prediction for Saturday's game in Murfreesboro? Western Kentucky MTSU.
Oh, hey, you don't want my predictions, so hey, we've had a very good football program. They've done great, and the guys Brom's done a great job. And but again, I haven't followed Middle Tennessee football, so I don't have no idea how good you all are. No, we're pretty good though.
Gotcha.
Your days at A&M, good times, and right now the program is kind of is on a steady on the upward incline. On the competition side, how long are you looking at as far as where you headed and what you got to go with this year basketball at your place?
Much time I got is this year. That's all I'm looking at. My goals are the same every year. Don't matter how many new guys I got, because I believe this. It's easy for a coach. If there's ever a coach could come in and say, "Boy, I'm gonna need 3 or 4 years to rebuild," I could use that. But like I told you, I'm too old to talk about rebuilding. We're trying to put a team together that gives us a chance to compete for a championship this year. We'll see if we can. I think we got a fighter's chance, at least, even though we're new. In the future, we're going to keep recruiting. We're trying to recruit players, same guys I had at A&M, same kind of guys I had at Mississippi State. We don't have McDonald's All-Americans, but we want the same guys at the end of the year. We all play in one tournament. I want guys to give us a chance to compete there.
Coach, that works for me.
Works for me?
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks
for
guys.
your time.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
All
right.